If you tell me you play the first Descendant, that's cool. If you tell me you think the first Descendant is a third-person looter shooter, I would call you a liar. Because this game is as far away as a looter shooter can possibly be from a looter shooter. Now, I don't need to discuss, like, you know, all the traits of a looter shooter within the category, but I will tell you this. A looter shooter contains repeatability, a ton of farming, and general enjoyment when farming. If we look at some of the other biggest looter shooters out, they have exactly that. Now, not to say the first Descendant doesn't have this, because, you know, there's a bit of a back and forth. But let's talk about the QOL improvements update information. So let's start off with the removal of weapon optimization conditions. So, we are in a position again where they are removing the grind in a grind game. And in terms of this game, there is so little to actually grind. After you put 10 catalysts into a Descendant, 10 catalysts into the last dagger, I don't see what you need to do. Like, you literally just max out one character, one weapon, and you can do the entire game. Which is interesting for sure. Yeah. This is allowing the newer players to basically just have an even better experience, and I think at this point they've focused enough on new players. They added the boost path, which basically helped like a ton of people skip a lot of the game. They've like completely destroyed everything this game could have ever had in terms of difficulty, because, you know, people were struggling with it. And I think that they just keep focusing on new players as much as they possibly can. Reactor weapon optimization conditions, or the weapon mounting, has changed a lot over the years. Here's a little history lesson for you if you didn't play the game. Previously, when this game came out, on the release of this game, there was only there was two major differences. You could only upgrade the reactor 2 times, so level 1 and level 2 was the max that you could do. And then on top of that, the mounting conditions did not used to be weapon type mounting conditions. It used to be weapon specific. Let's say, for example, you know, you wanted a bunny reactor for that crit bunny setup. You'd have to find a weapon with blue beetle mounting, electric, singular, crit rate for your high voltage setup, for example. But that is a thing of the past, and a lot of people complain that I can't find the weapon and stuff like that. Remember, you could not upgrade weapon stats, you could not change your weapon mounting condition, and you could not change the color of your rolls. You were given what you were given, and you basically had to live with it or keep farming until you found exactly what you want in full gold rolls. Now, that is a looter shooter. As painful as it can get, you have to farm. What we have now is a fuck it, if you get this in blue, you can just upgrade it, because, you know, we don't want you to play the game anyways, and we don't want you to have to spend time playing the game to farm. We just want you to get through it. Now, this raises the question, at this point, why do they not just let us log in, give us Serena, give us 100 catalysts, and give us a full setup, and just allow us to just run through the game? Because it seems like there's no focus on player retention over here. Now, player retention is a very big thing. You know, they've got to give you a reason to keep coming back. And at the beginning of the game, you've definitely got that. After you're capable of soloing per challenge and you can nuke everything yourself, I don't see the reason to come back to this game. And if you're wondering, like, you know, what am I going to do specifically? Am I still going to be playing the first Descendant? Yeah, I will be. Don't worry about that. I'm probably also going to start uploading some other games on my channel and hoping to God that, you know, they perform well. But for the most part, this is a step in the right direction for newer players. For older players or veterans or whatever, this is just another thing that is just unnecessary at this moment in time. I don't think that having to be, as a new player, having to farm a little bit of precise ion and ion accelerator to add a mounting for a weapon is necessarily going to be crazy. The way I look at it is, you know, having to use a specific weapon to buff your setup is a fair thing. You know, that's a cool thing. Having to use this weapon is the reason why I ended up trying a lot of different weapons in preseason, and I genuinely ended up enjoying a lot of them. So I think this is a very big L in terms of what they could be doing with the game. I don't agree with this one at all, but on to the next. Next up, we've got the Amorphous material opening method. Now, to reduce the hassle of opening patterns, a function will be allow a single or continuous opening through NPCs in the Albion. Good God. As a result, the reconstructed device, so when clearing Void Incept and Fusion battles, will be removed. So when you fight a Colossi, it just doesn't drop a globe anymore. Same with the Void Fusion reactors. Yeah. This is another very big change. This one we've known about for quite a while, but at the same time, this again just eats in that I have even less to do synergy. With this, what essentially happens is someone like myself logs in and goes into my inventory. I see that I have 192 of these, 494, 451, let's keep going, 153, 614, 126, you know, 400, 196, you know, 333, 601. I've got a lot of material patterns, and basically what I'm just going to be able to do is just go crack all 2, 3, 4,000 patterns I have open and never play the game again. Because I've got the patterns. I can just get the resources for the catalyst. I can already make almost 1,000 of them, so progress. But after this, what's the point? I can just, you know, go run a dungeon and just go crack everything open immediately. Like, hoarding everything is, like, not worth it. Like, the fact that they're just removing Void Fusion reactors as well, I think is a big mistake. The Colossi fights, that's the main thing, I can understand that. But I still run Void Fusion reactors with friends and stuff like that. This is not a good call at all. And this is genuinely not a good play at all, in my opinion. This, like, completely nukes a core fundamental. They did say they're revising the hard Void Vessel, Void Incept battles. If you are ever going to listen to me, force an immunity phase. Teach these players mechanics, because maybe one day in the future, you might be able to implement mechanics into the game. Probably not, because, you know, mechanics scare off people, and people don't want mechanics. You know, that'd be too much. We don't want people to quit the game. The game's already suffering as is. You know, adding mechanics into the game is a surefire death. We don't want that. The Legion of Breach, also being added into the lab. Yeah, that's fair. It's also a maximum of 50 mobs inside the lab. Another W, another good thing. Other than that, this QOL update is something. Let's go with that. The way I see it is they're basically just nuking the grind. Not a fan. Other than that, they nuked void shards and they didn't ever do anything with them ever again. They're gonna nuke void reactors, and they've nuked the void intercept battles. So, like, I think at this point what we actually need to do is, like, we need to add a button or a feature that allows our descendants to just eat every single external component set. If I want 5.7 duration, 6.5 skill cost, 5% weak point damage, max shield and skill cost, and max MP and all of these random effects, fucking 6% skill power and 6% more range and 6% more duration, 4% more cooldown and basically infinite MP recovery and even more range and even more tech and singular power. I reckon we should just be able to install our external components into our descendants, and whilst we're at it, I think that would be a very good call, because that would just buff our descendants even more. Even the way that they're going about this, and they said that the reactor skill power, the reactor stuff is going to be pushed into the base reactor skill power. This just means these reactors are going to make us even stronger now. So, yeah. Other than that, I think personally we should start off by deleting Kingston, because there's no need for it. We should delete Sterile Lands, delete Agna Desert, delete the Vespers, delete Hagios, delete the Wynite Gorge, and delete the Fortress, because we don't need them. There's no point. We might as well delete Sigma Sector 2, and delete Purge, delete Challenge, and delete the Axion Plains, because what happens is we can go to the lounge. We don't need content, guys, because the lounge is the best content. Like, the lounge is genuinely the best. I love the lounge. The lounge, yeah, lounge. Don't say that next time I think you're serious. I'm not serious. Please don't fucking do that. I mean, if you want to kill the game even faster than what's going on, then sure. But the biggest thing is they're investing in new players, which I don't think is a bad thing, right? But I think they need to focus on the endgame more, because even if we have a look at the roadmap in this instance, the roadmap is basically as bare bones as it can possibly get. Like, if we're looking at a game that's thriving in content, we've gotten all this, we've got this, we've got that. Right, this is where we're up to. A Void Vessel mission, right? Void Vessel is probably one of the least liked mods in this game, and it's not one of the it's one of the least liked mods in this game. Adding a sword is fine. That's cool. That's cool. That's something to do. It's gonna last for like maybe a few days with the first sword, and then the second and third sword are just gonna be variations of that. So it'll be cool to see what comes out of it, but I don't think they're going to do anything like major with these swords. I don't think it's gonna be a game changer. Void Vessel, like I said, just sucks the soul out of you. A new intercept battle, the Lava Citadel, a Black Hole edition of the Molten Fortress. It looks cool, but it doesn't change anything. Ancestor modules, probably going to be even more broken than the trigger modules, or more broken than anything. Yeah, it's just another game-breaking feature or another major buff to our characters that are already strong, whilst the content is struggling to keep up. So I don't know, man. At this point, they should just move the Axion enemies into every single dungeon and call it a day. I think that'd be a funny experiment. Other than that, some more story. That's fair. A lot of people have started to care about the story now because, you know, they don't. They just like the fact that it's exploring more kinky things like mind control and manipulation. But even still, a new collaboration. The director said it's one of his favorites, or it's one of his IPs, or something like that. So I can't wait to see what the new collaboration is, so next one can take my money again. This is going to make me very, very happy. Other than that, module trading, yeah, sure, don't allow us to trade caliber. Trading skins could create an economy in this game, especially for people who want to like sell the evolved skins. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If someone wants to sell me that Evo bunny for 25,000 caliber, I will graciously buy it off you. Just saying. Yeah, a supermassive receptor dungeon. I hope that supermassive is the name of the dungeon, and it's not a supermassive dungeon. Just for reference, they said this other Void Vessel is going to be medium-sized, so the fact that they don't focus on the size on this one scares me. I'm not a size queen, so, you know, I'm a bit worried about that one. But according to them, Axion is a large plains. If this is supermassive, is this vessel going to be like 7 times the size of Axion or something? I hope not. God. If it is that big, at least let us bike through it and stuff like that, because, you know, you can just run through everything in the game with Bunny on a bike anyways at this point. Paris and the sword again, another vessel that nobody's going to give too much of a shit about. Vessel, it's not a fan favourite. I can understand adding Vessel, but like, I don't know. Ultimate Eugen story, a fair thing. Some people are very interested in that, can't wait for that. Another intercept battle, again, rotating, completely fine, completely fair. All good, I guess. Lounge 2, competitive jerk, mate. But, you know, I feel like this is not the right approach. They're definitely adding things into the game, right? And not to say that they're not, but the stuff they're adding into the game just feels like, you know, just enough to basically just keep it from dying off completely. I understand that it is definitely difficult to make content, but at this point, I don't know whether focusing on Vessel is the right call. Raids could be cool. We've already got an 8-man raid every hour, bro. Raids would be a good idea. Or even just like forced team play. When they removed team play from this game, I feel like that was a major downside. Yeah, a forced team play mission would actually be kind of interesting, especially after all this time. There's no team play anyways, because Serena just does everything and so she'll never get nerfed anyways, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's at least my take on this patch notes thing. I don't know where this game's gonna be in a year's time, especially with like the way everything is going. I hope they lock in and like focus on like making the game fundamentally more challenging and adding more of an endgame in. I don't think they will, because the endgame is your credit card and you know, competitive wanking off and posting videos of it on like fucking Twitter or Reddit or something, and you know, all of that. In the lounge, of course, because Lounge 2 is coming, guys. I hope you're prepared, because the lounge is gonna have you coming, and so will I.